Hey there, and welcome to Dollars and Cents. I'm your host, Heather Sullivan. We have a great show for you with some of the best consumer reporting from Fox stations across the country, all to empower you to make the most of your money. Take a look at this.
Loud budgeting has the same feeling as sneaking candy into a movie theater. You feel like you got away with something.
Forget the days of not talking about money. Gen Z is going viral with what's called loud budgeting, how you can use it to help you save some serious cash. A chef has gone viral for his money-saving grocery strategy called 6 to 1, how to make it work for you. You can turn in an old cell phone for cash, but is it giving thieves incentive to snatch your phone for quick money? And the debate over compensation for student athletes is a hot one. We're going to show you how it is changing the game. And forget the concept of quiet luxury. Gen Z is doing the complete opposite here. It's called loud budgeting, and it is becoming a viral way of life. Fox's Dana Fowle breaks down how going loud can help you save some serious bucks.
You know, younger generations get beat up a lot about being sort of out of touch or irresponsible. And for the record, I've always thought those sort of generalizations were kind of unfair. But this one might lure you in because I think it's pretty cool.
Loud budgeting has the same feeling as sneaking candy into a movie theater. You feel like you got away with something.
Gen Z's first TikTok trend for 2024 is what this poster calls the opposite of quiet luxury. It's about saying loud and proud, I'm here to spend less. I want you to know I'm going to be more frugal. I'm here to save money, to budget. So say that loud and proud, Gen Z. Rather than brag about spending a lot of money on a sweater or some other disposable item, loud budgeting is about letting your peers know how much you have saved through a sale or how you've navigated spending less on groceries or even at restaurants. They plan this year to talk about how much money they make, how much money they want to save, and what their financial goals are. But it's about more than talk. It's about doing things with friends that aren't going to cost a whole lot of money, like meeting to walk or hike rather than going to a workout class together that costs money, getting together to cook group dinners over a night out at a restaurant, and rather than hitting the fancy store, maybe meeting up to thrift shop instead of heading out of town. Be a tourist in your own city. And the loud part of this is that they plan to post about it, these groups, and say loud and proud that they had a whole lot of fun and they didn't spend a lot of money. So let's follow Gen Z's lead.
Let us know if you try it out. I want to hear how it goes. Okay, do you end up wasting a ton of food and money every week, especially when you're trying to eat healthier? Well, a chef is going viral for his simplified way of grocery shopping. So take a look at this.
Whenever you go grocery shopping, Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, I don't care if you go to Erewhon, use the 6 to 1 method. You grab 6 veggies, 5 fruits, 4 proteins, 3 starches, 2 sauces or spreads, and 1 fun thing for yourself. This makes grocery shopping way easier, way cheaper, and you get in and out, so you're not there all day long.
That is New York chef Will Coleman, and his video has nearly 1 million views on TikTok. He says he created what he calls the 6 to 1 method to get people back to shopping and cooking more instead of eating out. He says it can save you money and your waistline, plus the time you might spend hemming and hawing in the store over what to buy. Well, millions of people across the country are really struggling just to put food on the table these days. So 2 moms wanted to make pantry staples more affordable while keeping all that surplus food from going to waste. They created an app called Marty, and I introduced you to this app about a year ago when they opened their Dallas warehouse. And now Fox's Haley Hines shows us how it is helping to save some people some money.
I think it's $20 at a retail price, and I got it for $9.99.
Deja Denise Sherrod is a young professional looking to save where she can.
And I think I got them for $4.
She has found one way to cut back on the costs of non-perishable food items and utensils for her kitchen.
This is the home page.
She's been making fewer trips to the supermarket by using an app called Marty.
So basically, Marty is a online delivery grocery store that collects surplus items from other retailers and sells it at a fraction of the cost. So customers are able to scroll, look through categories, and buy all types of non-perishable pantry items for a lot cheaper than what they would normally be able to.
We buy everything that is excess or overstock, and we sell it to consumers at 40 to 70% off.
Louise Frajofson is the CEO and co-founder of Marty.
Everything in our store is within code, so nothing is past before date. There's nothing wrong with the products. There's just a lot of excess inventory in our systems. So we save all that, save it from not going to landfill, and offer it to consumers at this huge discount.
The site shows customers how much they've kept in their wallet over the course of their deliveries.
And I've saved over $400 just by shopping with Marty.
So on average, you save about $54 on any one time you come and shop with us. Our users that have stayed with us for about a year and come shop with us often, the average saving is $600 a year.
And Louise says it's offering a solution in times of inflation and food insecurity.
How do we just build better systems to get to these people that need more affordable foods? And on the flip side, there's also a time now where the consumer is ready to really think about sustainability issues such as food waste. So just by buying cheaper groceries, you're actually doing the environment a huge effort and benefit from saving food from going to landfill.
And that's another plus for Deja Denise.
It's really beneficial to me that I can eat quality foods, because that's something that I value a lot, and be able to save money.
So if you try it out, let me know how you like it. I want to hear from you. So let's take a look at this idea. How about watching a few commercials to save money? More people are really jumping on that bandwagon by signing up for Netflix's ad tier subscription. Last year, Netflix said they made up 30% of their new signups, with more than 20 million people now on the plan. And it is a lot cheaper than the standard plan. The ad-based subscription costs about $7, while the price for a standard plan is about $16. Do you have a student who has no idea where they want to go to college or even how they're going to pay for it? Well, there's a new tool that can help. The College Board now offers Big Future. It's a free online tool that helps students determine what career they might like to pursue and which schools they might want to attend. Students can take a career quiz. It's about 60 questions long, and it's designed to help them figure out what career best fits them. Another big question, of course, is how you're going to pay for school. So Big Future can help you fill out financial aid forms and learn more about financial aid and scholarships. And tax filing season is here. Let the fun begin, right? Well, the IRS is testing out a new program this year. It's called Direct File, and that lets you file your tax return electronically for free, even if you don't qualify for Free File. You can use Direct File on your computer, phone, or tablet, and Texas is one of 12 states where it's being tested out this year. To use it, you need to have a relatively simple tax return, like taking the standard deduction. If you plan to itemize, claim certain credits, or have gig income, you won't be eligible to use it. But it will save you the cost of hiring a tax professional if you do. However, critics are skeptical. They say they don't like the idea of the IRS taking on both roles of being both the tax collector and the tax preparer. But meantime, Free File is also now open, and the income limit to use it was raised this year to $79,000 for individuals. That's the largest increase it's ever had, as they're trying to get more people to use Free File. And here's a tip to keep in mind when you are filing your taxes, no matter which way you do them this year. If you resumed federal student loan payments, you may be able to deduct some of that interest. And if you received loan forgiveness, you may not have to pay any federal income tax on it. Okay, you really have to see this next story, because you've probably seen the ATMs where you can recycle your old cell phone for cash. They can really help keep the cell phones out of landfills, and they put money back in your hands. But some people say they are incentivizing phone thieves, an opportunity that's just too good to pass up. So Fox's Matt Smith put one ATM's security to the test.
It happens in a matter of seconds. Literally seconds. The FBI says a whopping 133 cell phones are stolen every minute. As we live our lives talking, texting, tweeting, companies are making it easy to recycle our old phones to pay for the next, but some even advertise fast cash.
Instead of turning into more clutter in a drawer or toxic waste in a landfill, these phones are turning into cash instantly.
The guts of your phone have real value. To the naked eye, it's not much, but inside your device, there's a small treasure trove of precious metals. To avoid waste, companies incentivize recycling with cold hard cash.
They're incentivizing people to commit crimes.
This is Lindsay. She was riding a bus when someone snatched her phone. It took hours of searching. It wasn't until the next day that her Find My Phone app led her to Cap Hill, where a homeless man told her it was likely inside that box at a nearby store. Which led her here, where she reopened her Find My Phone app.
I go into QFC and I'm looking at all my devices, 40 feet, 30 feet, 20 feet, 10 feet, and then all of a sudden there's this big box machine that's like EcoATM, turning cell phones for cash on the spot.
Lindsay would eventually call police, who would get EcoATM to remotely open the kiosk. Inside, they dug through countless phones, eventually finding her stolen device. Police in Seattle, Everett, Tacoma, and Puyallup all tell me they've dealt with EcoATM and stolen phones. One department even calling them a great partner for helping get phones back. Lindsay and other victims say the company is part of the problem.
Like I said, very well masked, and what is, in my opinion, a stolen goods trafficking ring, essentially.
EcoATM says they go to great lengths to avoid buying stolen goods. They do what's called a live verification. Now, if you're selling a phone, a real person is monitoring and approving a transaction in real time, verifying that state-issued ID and getting a picture of the seller. They also use a third-party service called CheckMend. Think of it as Carfax for phones. They gather records from cell carriers, police, the FBI, and more to detect if a phone is stolen. EcoATM says, quote, if the device does not pass CheckMend's background check, the EcoATM kiosk will reject the transaction. So we put their safeguards to the test. I marked multiple phones as lost, then used online websites to even list them as stolen. Then I ran the devices through CheckMend to see whether my work landed on their radar.
It says the legal title of an item matching your search term and category is in doubt. We recommend you do not purchase.
Yet hours later, EcoATM offered cash for that exact phone. And again, even 15 days later, meaning it wasn't an issue with the system keeping up to date. Now, it is worth noting.
First, I'll check your ID.
Their verification process was hard to beat. Using a different ID, masks, and sunglasses, multiple attempts to trick the machine failed. If I wanted to sell that stolen phone, I was going to have to put my name and my face on camera. A deterrent, though, one criminals have clearly ignored. Old phones, all good. Cracked screen, no worries. No passcode, you can still pass go. Heck, you may even collect $200. You see, age and condition doesn't matter, but the more modern, the more money. And if you have the passcode to get in, you can grab a major payday. But even a stolen, locked phone like Lindsay's could pull a quick and easy $85. That's according to EcoATM's own website's estimate. EcoATM took days to respond, and once they did, they disputed our findings. Despite saying they used CheckMend to double-check phones, they state that CheckMend tapped into the GSMA database and confirmed that neither device was reported as stolen. Long story short, CheckMend shows it was stolen, but EcoATM states they didn't find a police report, so they purchased the phone anyways. Victims of phone theft question whether this business model is saving anyone.
While at its core, the business model isn't necessarily a bad thing, it shouldn't be built around those extreme incentives that do target people.
So here's where I typically tell you how to protect yourself. The issue here, there's only so much you can do. Now, I would stress that you mark your phone as lost as soon as you suspect it's stolen. If it ends up in one of these kiosks, they can't unlock it without your help. That means they will have to contact you. Though when we did it, it did take several days. We never heard back on our phones that we marked as stolen. Also, file a police report. Without one, you will not get far. Matthew Smith, Fox 13 News.
Interesting. And have you been holding off on buying a car the last couple of years? Though this might finally be your year. Interest rates could be dropping. Car prices are finally starting to come down a bit. And if your nose is pressed against the glass, don't buy just yet until you see this next report, because Fox's Don Hasbrook has a money saver to help prepare you to get the best deal.
The car buying landscape has shifted post-pandemic.
The good news is that most of the production slowdowns that occurred during the pandemic have eased. And so there are more cars available.
Kevin Brassler with Chicago Consumers Checkbook says that means if you're buying new, you'll have flexibility to negotiate when it comes to price.
And tell it, this is the car I want to buy. These are the options I think I want. What's your price going to be? And oh, by the way, you only have one chance to bid for my business. I'm going to contact other dealerships and offer them the same arrangement, and tell them I'm going to buy from the dealership that's going to offer me the best deal.
The best advice that I have about buying a car is don't fall in love.
Mike Quincy with Consumer Reports recommends keeping an open mind and not committing to only one option, which can lead to you missing out on a deal.
There's so many good cars out there that you don't have to be stuck just going for one particular make and model.
Quincy also recommends considering taking a look at some of the leftover 2023 car models at the dealer if you're hoping to save on your purchase.
They're still brand new cars. They're technically a 2023 model. So if you can identify a good performing, reliable model like a leftover Camry or an Accord or Nissan Altima, you can have significant savings. It can be several $1,000s off depending on the dealer and the particular car that you're interested in.
If you're looking for savings on a used car, even a somewhat recent model year can amount to some big savings.
If you buy a 2 or 3 year old used car, it's already depreciated at its maximum rate. There's still probably a little bit of factory warranty left over.
It is really important before you commit to buying a used car that you have an independent mechanic check it out. Do a thorough check to make sure that anything that needs to be fixed, that you know about those problems.
And when it comes to finding savings on financing of your new ride, doing your homework is key in getting a deal.
They may offer you something better, which is great, but at least you go in armed with knowing what's a fair interest rate to pay.
And one of the best places to go is your local credit union. If you're not a member, join a credit union. You can often get really good deals that way.
Quincy says savings can also come if you're realistic.
So we would strongly encourage people not to take out super long loans. Try not to overbuy. Try to put down as much upfront as you can to kind of reduce your overall payments.
Okay, now you can go buy a car. And now that we are in the dog days of winter, energy bills are climbing, but experts say there are some ways to trim those bills back down. First, lowering your thermostat 1 or 2 degrees will save you the most money. They recommend 68 degrees when you're home and 55 when you're not home. And then there's what's called zone heating and lighting. Only heat and light the occupied rooms and turn them off in the rest of the rooms that are not being used. Open your shades on south-facing windows during the day to get natural warmth from the sun, and seal up drafty doors with door sweeps to prevent cold air from entering. And let's get back to cell phones for just a moment, because if you're finding that your cell phone is slowing down, don't get rid of it just yet. First, it may just be time to give it a digital deep cleaning to free up some space. So here's Fox's Steve Noviello with some great tips to declutter your digital life. Plus, and I didn't even know about this, he has a very easy way to cancel those trial subscriptions before they start charging you. It's a great tip.
We deep clean our closets, we declutter the kitchen, we edit the kids' toys. Heck, I'll even wipe down the baseboards once a year, right? But when is the last time you gave your digital devices a deep cleaning? I want to start with email. Take a look at the video we've got for you. I like to call my inbox a sea of delayed decisions, right? Yes, I might need that email from 2014, and it's okay to save it, but here's what you should get rid of. I want you to sort your inbox by size and then get rid of as many of those emails containing large attachments as you can. Oftentimes they're duplicated over and over and over again in a thread, and you just don't need them all. Next, search by a keyword. Like I like to do my favorite retailer. Get rid of all of those old "thanks for your order is on the way" emails that say anything that you need that's well documented is going to be available when you go to your account, so you don't need a copy of the email telling you about this information as well. And finally, unsubscribe, but please do it carefully. Only unsubscribe to companies that are reputable, which follow unsubscribe protocols. Companies that you're not sure, where you're thinking, gosh, I don't remember even signing up for that subscription list, and then they ask you to verify your email address. Do not do it. go ahead and block those people by verifying your email address. What you're doing is telling people, yes, this is a valid email address. They're just phishing for information, kind of like when you answer your phone during one of those spam likely calls. All you're doing is telling the person on the other end of the phone that, yep, you've got a live one on the line. This is a valid phone number. Okay, next up, how about those pictures? At last check, I have more than 131,000 photos on my cell phone. Now, granted, I get 2 small kids, so I feel like I get a little bit of a pass here, but it's just way too many, okay? So let's get rid of some of them. Here's how you do it. A couple of things I want you to do is first, go to the settings and see exactly what is taking up so much memory on your phone. Maybe there were a couple of movies that I downloaded for the kids to watch on an airplane that I then never got rid of, right? Get rid of them. Next, I want you to go down to your photos and look at duplicates, right? There were so many duplicates on my phone. You just hit merge. They'll get rid of all of the very same exact photos and get rid of them. Also go to all those bursts, right? When I'm taking pictures of my kids blowing out their birthday candles, I don't need 27 frame by frame moments. I just need that one money shot, right? But how many times do you actually go back and edit out all of the other ones and just keep one? So go ahead and do it. And finally, when it comes to free subscriptions, listen up to this. So we download the free subscription and we think, okay, I'm going to set a calendar item to remind myself to cancel one day before I get charged. Forget all of that. It's too cumbersome. Instead, listen to this. As soon as you do a free subscription, go into your subscriptions and cancel it. Even though you're canceling the subscription, you still get to enjoy the free trial. But because you've done it, while it's top of mind, you've made that cancellation, you now no longer have to worry about getting charged for it because you forget, in 14 or 7 or however many days that it's time to go ahead and cancel that trial. More information right now when you come see me online, facebook.com/SaveMeSteve.
I told you it was a good tip, huh? And I can't believe he has 100,000 pictures. All right, finally, the debate over whether student athletes should be able to be paid is still as hot as watching a close game. The NCAA Division I Council has voted to adopt new rules designed to help athletes. This comes as the House and Energy Commerce Committee is preparing to hold a hearing on how to protect the deal-making rights of student athletes. Fox's Chad Pergram gives us a look at what's happening on the playing field.
The rules on the field are clear, but rules off the field are vague when it comes to college athletes monetizing their own name, image, and likeness, or NIL. The NCAA resisted establishing a standard. Some lawmakers want a national criterion for NILs.
There's got to be rules so that you don't have just the Wild West.
GOP Alabama Senator and former Division I football coach Tommy Tuberville introduced legislation to create a uniform NIL system. NCAA President Charlie Baker endorses Tuberville's bill. It docks athletes for entering the transfer portal to switch schools. Previously, athletes had to sit out a year when transferring.
Just to leave for money, you need to pay a price. You're breaking a contract, you're going somewhere else, and you've got to sit out a year before you play.
Power conference schools can now lure top athletes to secure bigger paydays. It's almost like free agency in the pros, but some still want Congress on the sidelines.
Be very, very careful before you ask Congress to get involved, because Congress has a tendency to micromanage.
Oklahoma State has a brand squad helping athletes manage themselves, but schools can only do so much.
The NCAA has not been able to do this, and I believe that Congress is the only ones that will be able to do this level playing field.
Kaylee Mudge plays softball at Florida State. She's applying NIL earnings toward a nursing degree.
NIL is becoming more of a how can I save this money in the future more than just how can I get as much money as I want right now.
But some lawmakers say the money takes the fun out of college sports.
The idea of it becoming a profession, which is what I think NIL does, just in my mind violates some of the sensibilities.
However, it's not game day for any NIL legislation. Most bills are benched in committee, playing second string to fights over the border. In Washington, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
And let me know what you think about student athletes getting paid or other ways that you'd like us to help you save some money. Just hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. It's all Heather Sullivan, Fox 26. And that's our show. Thanks so much for joining us. I've always got more ways to save for you on Sullivan Smart Cents on Fox26Houston.com. And we'll see you next time on Dollars and Cents.